What's going on, everybody? Frank with Linemaker Sports here again, coming at you guys. It is Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Well, what I'm going to do today, guys, we're going to go over what is the number one thing that everybody always wants to accomplish. They want to be able to quit their 9-to-5 job, right? They want to retire. They want to go. They want to do something that they want to do, right? Or make money doing something they want to do. Well, I'm going to try to help you guys out a little bit in this video today. I'm going to show you guys the blueprint on how you could quit your 9-to-5 job and become a sports bettor. All right, that would be taking your level of being just a starting sports bettor to a professional level if you're doing it for a living. All right, so I'm going to lay out the blueprint for you guys. I'm going to go in detail and show you guys how this is really possible. All right, like always, guys, if you guys enjoy this, make sure you guys go comment. We're live right now, so if you guys got anything to say, throw it in the comment section. Also, make sure you guys like and subscribe as well. So before we get to it, guys, I just want to know, what does everybody think, it takes to reach that level of quitting their 9-to-5 job, and being able to pursue what it is they want to pursue? What do you guys think? Throw it in the comment section. I want to see some people talking down in there as I go through this. This is basically going to be like a teaching lesson, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a class we're going to go through here. All right, I'm going to give you guys some good information, so make sure you guys are listening and kind of letting some people get in here right now before I get it going, all right? Because I don't really want people to miss some of the information that I'm going to give out. As always, if you guys want to bypass all this stuff, obviously you guys can go down in the description, click the link. You can work with me one-on-one where I can teach you exactly how to do this for a living. So make sure you guys, if you're interested in that, go in the description and book a call. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get into it on how you can quit your 9-to-5 job and actually pursue a career in sports betting. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition over here a little bit, and I'm going to be typing some stuff down to kind of show you guys, give you a visual of pretty much what it is I want you to look at. All right, so the first thing that I want to address, first thing is going to be, what is the average median income in the U.S.? All right, because we're going to use that as like kind of our basis. Does anybody know? Throw it in the comments if you guys got any idea of what you think the median income in America is. All right, so your average median income is going to be in the U.S. is going to be $61,000. All right, a year. So $61,000 a year is what you're looking at for a median income. All right, now how does that break down? Let's just go through how this breaks down a little bit. All right, so that's about $5,000 a month, and also breaks down to about $166 a day. All right. So when you're looking at that, you're thinking, most of you people that are watching this, you guys that's probably around what you make. And if you make more than that, congrats to you. You're on the next level of that as well. All right. But this is around what the median income is. Now, what is the goal that you're going to set to be able to quit your 9-to-5 job? So if you're making this amount, at your job, you're making $5,000 a month, obviously you got to replace that, right? To be able to quit that job. So what is the goal? The goal to be, what units do you want to hit? You're going to have to hit a certain amount of units to be able to achieve $5,000 a month or $166 a day. All right, so the goal, let's say, for example, is going to be 10 units. All right, we're not going to get crazy with this and say, oh, I want to hit 1,000 units in a month or whatnot. All right, so your goal is going to be to hit 10 units a month. All right, we're going to do 10 units a month, which is not bad. All right, it's not bad. It's definitely achievable. All right, when it comes to that now, we've got down what the average American makes. We have what our goal is going to be for units a month, what we want to make. And now let's go into what our unit size is going to be. What is the unit size that we're going to need to be able to hit $5,000 a month? All right, so you can kind of do the math right here. So you got 5,000, obviously is what we want to make per month. Your goal is to hit 10 units. So that correlates into what? That correlates into a $500 unit size. All right, so your unit size is going to be $500. All right, so your unit size is $500. Now, to get that unit size of $500, we obviously need a bankroll that's going to be able to support that, right? We can't just go out there with $1,000 and start betting $500 a game. All right, we just can't do that. There's no way you're going to be able to sustain that. You're going to end up losing all your money or whatnot, and then it's going to be completely done. So we can't do that. All right, let's say we're going to go with, I'm going to give you guys kind of 3 levels here of the bankrolls that you're going to need for that, to support that unit size. All right, so your first one's going to be a $50,000 bankroll. That's going to be your base. That's like your base of what you need to be able to sustain this type of unit size. All right, so 50K, that's going to be, betting at 1%. All right, so if you're betting at 1%, your unit size, you're able to achieve that $500. All right, your next level from that is going to be 25K. All right, so 25K, kind of chopping that in half, and then you'll be betting 2% of that. So it gives you, a starting point that's halfway. If you don't have 50K, you can get halfway there, and you're betting at 2% for that. All right, now the last level, because you're never going to want to bet anything above 3% at one time, because that's risk. All right, you're putting high risk when you're going to above 3%. So the last level that really you can do to be able to sustain this type of unit size and to be able to try to reach that goal of what you want is going to be a $16.6 thousand bankroll. All right, it doesn't put you exactly where you're supposed to be, but that's around what you're going to be looking at. All right, of what you need. Now that's going to be at 3%. So you'll be betting 3% of that. You're getting it's like a $498 unit size. All right, so let's go over this one more time. Your average median income right now, about $60,000, and that's 60, I'd say anywhere, 60, 70-ish range. $5,000 a month, $166 a day is what your goal is. Your goal is to hit 10 units a month. Your unit size is going to start out, it's going to be $500 is what you need. You have to have a $500 unit size because you have to try to get 10 units out of that to get $5,000 a month. So you either need the 50K bankroll, you need the 25K bankroll, or you need a $16.6 thousand bankroll. All right, and that's going to be at 3%. So that's the highest risk side right there. All right, I'm going to put that there for you guys, just so you know. That's going to be the riskiest part. All right, now let's go ahead and move on from that, because that's your first step. Your first step is you got to know what type of money you're dealing with. All right, because there's no way you can't just jump into something not knowing how much you're going to deal with or anything like that. All right, so that is your base right there. That is like the foundation is your bankroll. All right, after that, now we got to get to what sports books are we gonna touch base on here. What do we need? What do we need to access to be able to make this? All right, so your sports books. What I would suggest here is you're gonna need to have at least 5 sports books. All right, so let's get at least 5 sports books here, so that way we can spread this bankroll around. All right, so at least 5 sports books. Now, when it comes to which sports books to get, here's the thing. I'm going to advise that, what you need is like the American sports books, the legal ones in the legal states, like your DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars, stuff like that. You're going to need those type of sports books because you're going to need to access those to be able to kind of manipulate lines and do stuff that you need to do. Offshore books, using the offshore books, it's very hard because they give you horrible odds to begin with, and then you're kind of fighting them to find certain lines that they might not have, so you might miss out on certain bets and stuff like that. So it's still possible with the offshore books, it's just a little bit more difficult, all right, and more chance of where they're going to end up banning you, all right, or they're going to limit you. So that's another reason I'm talking about these sports books right here, all right, because I do want to let everybody know that when you're dealing with, certain sports books and you're betting certain amounts, like if you're betting a $500 unit size, you need to know that you're kind of just flying under that radar there. So if you're going to go above that, if your unit size is going anything above 500, you have to split that amongst those sports books. So that's why I said have at least 5 of them, because you got to take your bankroll, split it up, and then if you're betting above a $500 unit size, if you're betting $600 or $700, you have to split that unit size up between like 2 or 3 sports books. All right, so what I'm saying is like you take the same bet, but you split that up between 3 sports books, so you're not betting $600 or $700 at one sports book. All right, $500 is kind of like the threshold that I've seen to where you fly under the radar and they don't really limit you and they don't cut you off. All right, so that's just my advice when it comes to the sports books and how you're going to address them, because that's like your hurdle that you got to get over. Once you start consistently making money and you're like trying to do this for a living, you've got to kind of work your way around the sports books, because that's your lifeline. So if they cut you off, then you're not going to be able to do it anymore. All right, so first off, when it comes to sports books, like I said, 5 sports books, have it split up. Next thing after that, you got your sports books funded, you got your bankroll, you got your foundation, you got everything ready to go. The next thing you're going to be doing now is, how do I find the bets, right? It's going to be, I got everything set up, but how am I going to find those bets? So to find the bets, here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys some idea of how to do this. It's not the complete formula, obviously, because I'd have to spend a long time on here to teach you guys that, all right? But I'm going to give you guys some pointers here on how you can find the bets. And also, like I said, if you guys are interested in me teaching you this one-on-one rather than just jumping on YouTube, just click the description down below, book a call. Trust me, all right? Next thing is going to be finding the bets, all right? So the first thing we're going to talk about here is limiting the amount of plays that you're going to play. We don't want to go out and be throwing away like 100 plays. Trust me, I know on a Saturday, college basketball Saturday, there is a lot of games. Doesn't mean you need to play every single game, all right? That does not mean that you need to play every single game. All right, what you have to do is you got to scan through those. All right, so we have to limit our plays. Limit your plays. All right, I'm kind of going to get rid of some of this stuff up here, all right, so we can kind of focus in a certain area so stuff not all over the place. All right, so you want to limit your plays. All right, how we're going to limit our plays is we're going to scan through a slate. All right, limit your plays by scanning through a slate. And then what you're going to do is as you're scanning through the slate, you're going to look for games that have little to no movement on the odds. All right, so what this means is when you're going through a slate of games, let's say a game opens up, let's just say NHL. Let's say the Rangers open up at minus 150, and now they're currently at minus 152. Like there's really no movement there. So you're going to go through the ones that have no movement, you're going to completely ignore. All right, you're going to take those off the list. All right, so limit your plays by scanning through the slate and looking for plays with little to no movement in odds. All right, so that's what you're going to be looking for. First step, going through. You're going to go through. If there's no movement at all, check those off the list. That's pretty much gonna knock a lot of these plays out. All right, it's gonna knock a lot of plays out because there's some, a good portion on a day where there's really not too much movement going on because not too many people are touching that game or they're not doing anything with that game, so there's no movement to go with that. All right, what you're looking for games that have drastic movements. All right, so you're looking for your games that have like, if a game like using that Rangers example, let's say it opened up minus 150, now they're at like minus 170. Like you're looking for stuff like that. That's the type of games that you're looking for. So there's only a certain amount of games on every day that even hit that kind of criteria. So trust me, you're going to limit your plays down just through that first step. All right. Another thing that I want you guys to understand is this is like something that in the game of sports betting people do not get. All right. They don't understand that when it comes to the odds, everybody's like, oh, you need to bet minus 110 plays and that's it. It's all you can bet. No, you got to realize you got to win, all right? you got to win. And when it comes down to it, you need to win the plays, all right? It doesn't matter if it's minus 110, what it is. So you need to realize that the odds don't matter, all right? Odds don't matter, all right? So to a certain point, though, all right? They don't matter to a certain point. So that certain point being around, let's say, I would say, minus 200, 250, you start venturing into minus 300, minus 400, then that stuff's not worth it. But anything in that type of range going down, because when you're manipulating lines, which is a very important part of being able to do this at a high level, you have to be able to manipulate lines. You can't take what the sportsbook gives you. You can't, because they're designed to take your money. So if you just take what they give you, you're going to lose. That's just a matter of fact, all right? A lot of people don't understand that. That's how I tell amateur bettors right off the bat. Is I'll see what lines they end up betting, and if they're betting exactly, betting on key numbers like in the NFL and stuff like that, I know right away that you're an amateur bettor because those are next level things is being able to manipulate lines and stuff. All right, so you got to realize that the odds don't matter. All right, so here's the thing that I want to address with everybody too. When you're looking at odds, they kind of tell you something. They tell you like the percentage of a chance of a game winning. All right, so a minus 200 play, let's say for example, has over a 60% chance of winning. Chance of winning. All right, so it has over a 60% chance of winning. But that does not mean that you could just blindly bet minus 200 plays and think that you're going to make money because you're hitting over 60%. All right, that does not mean that. So here's this is going to be a little confusing what I say here, but All minus 200 plays have over a 60% chance of winning, but not all minus 200 plays are going to give you a 60% chance of winning. All right, so if you want to rewind and listen to what I just said there, it's kind of confusing because minus 200 plays, they give you over a 60% chance of hitting them, but other things have to line up. All right, so the other things that need to line up in order for this to even be considered to give you a shot at a play actually hitting, like if it's, an over 60% chance of winning, there's other things that need to line up. All right, not just it's minus 200, you got a 60% chance, over 60% chance of winning that bet. All right, other things need to line up. So the other things that need to line up is like the trends that these teams are, when they go against each other, things need to line up. All right, need to favor what it is that you're looking at. All right, that's another thing that people kind of just bypass. They don't pay too much attention to, but history repeats itself. All right, so when you are paying attention to a certain matchup, go back into further matchups and check stuff out because that information can definitely help you for, further games and for the game that you're looking at. All right, so first thing would be the trends. That's another thing that you got to pay attention to. Also, you need to know this part too. This is important. All right, you need to know the amount of bets and the money. All right, you need to know where that's going. All right, you need to know how many bets are being placed on a certain game, how much money is being placed on it. All right, you need to know. That's very important to know because the reasoning behind that is that if you don't know that stuff, then you're at a serious disadvantage for the people that actually do. All right, and your average sports bettor, they'll just go through and maybe they'll do the first step here. Maybe they'll go through and limit you. You'll go to the ones with the biggest differential and then you'll just bet those blindly, without doing anything else. So you need to go and do other steps that are going to help you along with this. All right, because what the overall goal is to be able to take a play that has a certain percent chance but has a true percent. All right, a true percent meaning that it's went through everything that you've looked at, so it actually has, like, let's say if a game has 65% chance of winning, it actually has a true 65% chance of winning. All right, not just because the odds are minus 200, minus 220, or minus 180, or minus 150. Not just because of that, but because of other reasons as well. All right, so it's kind of going through checks and balances to be able to verify for yourself that this is actually going to give me a shot on the best probability of this actually hitting at a certain percentage. That's what you really are paying attention to. All right, you're not paying attention to any really other garbage that is thrown out there. All right, so another thing that I want to discuss too is going to be people that tell you, oh, you need to have minus 110 odds. All right, people that tell you you need to have minus 110 odds, it's not true. You do not need to have minus 110 odds to be able to win at sports betting. You just don't. All right, because here's the thing. The sports books love it when you bet minus 110 odds. All right, so minus 110 odds. I'm going to write this down for you guys. Sports books love when you bet those. All right, you might think that, it's value. Okay, minus 110 is value. But here's the thing. A minus 110 play is truly just a coin flip. There's not a certain percentage that play is actually going to hit. There is nothing like that. All right, because even a minus 110 play, which is a total number or a spread, must be manipulated. It must be manipulated. All right, and when you manipulate those plays and you manipulate those numbers, there's no more minus 110. It starts going minus 130, minus 140. It starts going up because you have to pay a certain price to make the number what you want to make it. All right, so I want you guys to understand that it's very important to manipulate the lines. So I'm going to write that down too. So manipulate the lines. Very important. All right, I'm kind of going to highlight that a little bit for you. So when you manipulate the lines and you work it towards what you actually want it to be, you give yourself an even greater shot. All right, so this is why you don't see, commercials and stuff like that for like DraftKings, FanDuel, all them. You don't see them like promoting that stuff like, oh, well, you can go change the line and be able to make it this or whatnot. They don't really promote that. They have it on there for you to do, but not a lot of people even know how to do that. All right, because I'm going to say about 75% of the people that I talk to or come in contact with, they don't even know that you can change lines. They just think that like you log into the sports book and that you have to take that number that they give you, that you can't manipulate it at all. So it's a serious disadvantage for those, especially for people that are brand new to sports betting, because when you're brand new to sports betting and you have no idea about any of this type of stuff, then you just don't know you don't know what to do. You know, you have no idea what to do, so they take advantage of that, and that's how you end up losing all of your money and stuff. All right, so that's pretty much what it comes down to. All right, guys, and I see a lot of people in the comments here. I really do want to come over and kind of address a lot of the stuff in the comments that I see, but there's a lot of questions to go through here. All right, so let's go through. I'm going to see if I can grab any key ones out that I haven't already answered already. All right, so let's see here. We got, here we go. Paul says, when can I scan to pick losers? Paul says, I buy and I still lose. 20 years plus in. What else we got here? I appreciate you. You watch me every day. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys, for chiming in on that question that I asked about the median income. Thanks for that. You guys seen me on Dr. Phil. I appreciate that as well. Why do you have to split? I kind of addressed that one already, because you don't want to get banned. You don't want certain things to happen where you end up, getting kicked from the sports book, or you get limited. You don't really want that to happen. All right. So another thing, I started with 200 across 4 sports books. Now I'm at $100 units. 5,000 across 4 sports books. It takes time. It took me 2 years. It does. It takes time, especially if you guys are not at the level that, like I pretty much said. If you guys are not at the level with the bankroll, 50K, 25K, 16K, if you're not at that, don't think that you can't reach that level. You could reach that level, okay? You could reach it. It's 100% possible, but it takes time. The lower amount of money that you have, the longer it's going to take to get to that level. All right, so just realize that the longer, the smaller the bankroll is that you have, then you're going to have to, over time, you got to stack that up to get to exactly what it is that you want to get to. Matt, you said you heard that I teach people how to find games. Yep, exactly, guys. If you guys want me to teach you how to do this at a professional level, how to do this at a high level, make sure you guys go and click the description, book a call, so that way, we could see if it works. Somebody says, Antoine Jackson says 2-leg parlays. I'm sorry, but no. No parlays. We're not parlaying at all. All right? So these are just straight bets. You're doing what I advised here and what I went through is just strictly straight bet stuff. All right? That's all we're doing. We're just doing straight bets. We're not doing anything other than that. 2-team parlays and stuff like that, that's another animal that you can't really address and you can't really do if you're trying to do this for a living. Just can't. It's very tough. All right? J-Rod said, should you be mad at a bad beat? All right, so a bad beat, they happen all the time. All right, here's what happens. Bad beats happen on both sides, but people don't realize it sometimes. A bad beat will happen for you, and sometimes it'll happen against you. So sometimes you'll lose because of a bad beat, but then sometimes you'll win because of one. So you don't really recognize when you win, but you recognize when you lose one. So what you have to do is you kind of have to realize that, it works both ways. Like, even though I got a bad beat today and I lost, well, tomorrow I could actually win by a point or half a point on a last basket or something like that. So don't let them affect you. That is the biggest bankroll killers are, bad beats. Because when a bad beat hits, you're like devastated because you're like, oh, I should have won that play. Now you feel like tilted and you're like, oh, let me go spend all my money trying to chase and get stuff back. You don't need to do that. There's no reason to do that. All right, so you just have to think that it works both ways. If you get a bad beat where you lose, guess what? One where you win is probably coming up pretty soon. All right, so that's how I address that. Yes, you said parlays are risky. Sergio, you said, do you use Action Network to read the lines? No, I don't use Action Network to read the lines. I use various websites to be able to read lines. Whatever gives you opening lines and gives you kind of current lines as well, I use that to, the best of my ability on that. Mark, you said, what are the 3 main things to look at in deciding what games to bet on? I'm going to have to say, you're going to have to go through this video again and kind of go about 5 to 10 minutes ago because I kind of went through most of that, all right? Next thing, what else we got here? What do you do if your model or info doesn't support the money percentage or line movement? Then you just pass. You don't play it, all right? Sometimes there's days where you just don't have plays. If you don't have plays, guess what? Just relax. If you can't relax on a day where there's no plays, then you have a gambling problem. All right? I'm just being totally honest with you. If you can't relax one day and not bet on a game, then you have a gambling problem. So sometimes there's days where there's just no games. There's no games to be played. All right? So those days you just got to relax. Sit back, relax. Go out and do something to get your mind off of any games that are being played because you don't got money on them. All right? Jesse says, what sports line movement is easiest to read? Money lines. Money lines would probably be the easiest to read because, you could just see like it's usually they open at, let's say minus 150, it goes minus 170. Those are easiest to read. The spreads get a little bit difficult to read, but I'd say money lines pretty much. Richard, you said, what do you personally think of the martingale strategy for sports betting? My friend uses this strategy, starts with 0.05% of his bankroll. The problem with the martingale strategy is you need endless money. All right, it could work to a certain extent because it's here's the thing: certain sports books are only going to allow you to bet a certain amount on a certain game. So just random games like the Super Bowl, they'll take heavy bets. They'll take a lot of money on those games. You could bet $1 million on those games. But some Division II basketball game that you're eyeing, they're not going to take $1 million on that. So the martingale system works to a point. Works to a point too, as if you do go on that pretty bad streak, which it happens in everything. Happens in sports, happens in roulette, happens in baccarat, blackjack, all that stuff. That if you go on a pretty bad roll, then you might not be able to have enough money because you might run out of money, or you might not have a sports book that's willing to accept that bet. And then next thing you know, you're betting $1 million to win $1,000 because you're martingaling it up. So I never really suggest doing stuff like that. The martingale, like I said, it only works until it doesn't work anymore because you either ran out of money or you just don't have anywhere for somebody to take your bet. All right, what else we got here? Matt, you said, how much can you make every year with with my coaching program? So what we average is 120 units a year. So depending on what your unit size is, you multiply that by 120 units. Like I would say 100 to 120 units in that range. So 100 to 120 units, multiply that by your unit size. That's how much you would make in a year of me teaching you exactly how to do this. And you can, go on how to do this for yourself and not just rely on somebody else. All right. I see everybody kind of laughing on what I said there when it comes to that. But all right, guys, I appreciate everybody for chiming in on the chat and everything. Hopefully you guys took some good information from this. Like I said, it was a bit of a little teaching session so I could show you guys. This is the basics, all right? What I laid out for you are the basics of what it takes to be able to do this at a high level and be able to quit your job, to replace the median income, all right? The median income. If you're making $100,000, $200,000 a year, then obviously it's going to take a lot more to replace that type of income, all right? And if you're making less, then it's easier, right? So this is just, this was an example to show you guys exactly what it takes, all right? And the basics behind everything and how to help you be able to either do this side income wise till you get to the 9 to 5 and then you can, erase the 9 to 5-ish, or completely quit and work just at sports betting. Because plus me, guys, it is very fun to do and it's very entertaining. All right, every single day. I love waking up. I love doing research. I love looking at games. I don't watch the games. To be honest with you, I don't watch the games a lot because like the emotion has been kicked out for me. I don't really watch. I don't really pay attention to them too much. But just the love of sports. If you love sports, then it's a dream job. It really is. All right. So if you guys, like I said, are interested in that type of stuff and, you want to get to that certain level, definitely reach out to me. All right. Reach out to me and I could help you guys get to that certain level. All right. As always, guys, I appreciate everybody. Make sure you guys go smash the like button for this if you did enjoy this live. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then.